Jim, can I start off by asking you why you think the equity markets are not responding to the stabilization plans that are being introduced around the world at the moment?
Because they're absurd.
The dollar collapse will be the single largest event in human history. This will be the first event that will touch every single living person in the world. All human activity is controlled by money. Our wealth, our work, our food, our government, even our relationships are affected by money. No money in human history has had as much reach in both breadth and depth as the dollar. It is the de facto world currency. All other currency collapses will pale in comparison to this big one. All other currency crises have been regional, and there have always been other currencies for people to grasp onto. This collapse will be global, and it will bring down not only the dollar, but all other fiat currencies, as they are fundamentally no different. The collapse of currencies will lead to the collapse of all paper assets. The repercussions to this will have incredible results worldwide.
I would say this, listen, I would say this to everybody who's watching this. This economic crisis is like a cancer. If you just wait and wait thinking this is going to go away, just like a cancer, it's going to grow and it's going to be too late. What I would say to everybody is get prepared. This is not a time right now to wishful thinking the government is going to sort things out. The governments don't rule the world. Goldman Sachs rules the world. Goldman Sachs does not care about this rescue package, neither does the big funds. So,
world, by any objective criteria, the euro has failed, and in fact there is a looming impending disaster. You know, this deal makes things worse, not better. 100 billion is put up for the Spanish banking system, and 20% of that money has to come from Italy. And under the deal, the Italians have to lend to the Spanish banks at 3%, but to get that money, they have to borrow on the markets at 7%. It's genius, isn't it? It really is brilliant. So what we're doing with this package is we're actually driving countries like Italy towards needing to be bailed out themselves. In addition to that, we put a further 10% on Spanish national debt. And I tell you, any banking analyst will tell you 100 billion doesn't solve the Spanish problem. It would need to be more like 400 billion. And with Greece teetering on the edge of euro withdrawal, the real elephant in the room is that once Greece leaves, the ECB, the European Central Bank, is bust. It's gone. It has 444 billion euros worth of exposure to the bailed out countries. And to rectify that, you'll need to have a cash call from Ireland, Spain, Portugal, Greece and Italy. You couldn't make it up, could you? It is total and utter failure. This ship, the Euro Titanic, has now hit the iceberg, and sadly there simply aren't enough lifeboats.
There. The numbers don't lie. More than $16 trillion in debt. The Fed printing, pumping, digitizing another trillion every single year. It's actually 1.1 trillion. The government was spending $30.5 billion in the first 5 months of this year.
The Federal Reserve is now the lender of last resort. We know for a fact that the Fed, as a matter of fact, is buying about 90% of the bonds from the Treasury. So basically, not only are they engaged in market manipulation across the board, understand, the Fed, in order to keep the interest rates low, can't just say it. They're not magical. They have to get into the market and make it happen. So we understand we're seeing bond buying purchases and money printing, the likes of which has never been seen before in history. This is completely uncharted territory.
The unemployment rate will triple and will be in a greatest depression. You probably dismiss it as crazy talk, except the person who is saying these things is far from crazy.
It would be easy to dismiss Gerald Celente as a nut.
We're going to see depression-level unemployment rates, 22, 25%. We're going to see vacant malls, vacant strip malls, ghost malls. we're going to see a commercial real estate collapse. We're going to start seeing food riots. We're going to start seeing a lot of crime. Empire America is fading fast.
Except, you can't call him a nut. Far from it. He's been featured by many major newspapers and TV networks, consulted major corporations, and he's accurately forecasted everything from the stock market crash of 1987 to the bursting real estate bubble, the panic of '08, as he calls it.
But we just look at the facts. And again, we're not Johnny-come-latelys on this. We've been predicting this. You know, I've been in business since 1980. I've written books. We have the Trends Journal. Our track record is there for everyone to look at.
An economist by trade, Celente has carved out a niche as a top-notch trends forecaster. We went to visit him at his office in upstate New York to talk about the economy. After studying and forecasting trends for nearly 30 years, Celente is now saying the U.S. economy will totally collapse. The bailouts, the stimulus plans, he says they won't work. They're only delaying the inevitable. Economic Armageddon.
You can't print money based on nothing. It's not even Economics 101. It's economics for dummies. You can't, that's why gold prices are going up. They're going to look back in history and say, oh my God, how could these people have been so stupid?
Why is no one anywhere in the world telling you the truth and telling you to prepare? I will tell you that I had a network, one of the big three, a network official actually tell me in the last 2 years, Glenn, listen, we all know what's coming. And this is a quote, but we have a responsibility not to tell the American people because they'll freak out. I couldn't believe I was hearing that. Needless to say, the rest of the meeting didn't go well. Our economy is fragile, and everyone treats you like you're a moron.
Indeed, listening to all of you this morning reminds me of the great British comedy classic, Carry On Up the Khyber, where the colonial English go on having dinner, ignoring the fact that disaster, impending disaster, is all around them. You are determined but delusional in this attempt to keep the euro propped up. And whilst you're enjoying your dinner, incoming shells are landing all around you. Youth unemployment in Greece went through 50% last week. That's fine, carry on, serve the main course. And you'll have seen yesterday that 110 German bondholders of Greek bonds are now going to take legal action against the banks and against the Greek government. But don't worry, chaps, carry on, everything is going to be fine. But perhaps the biggest bombshell is the German finance minister saying just yesterday nobody can exclude a third bailout. Pass the port, do enjoy the party. I mean, it's a farcical situation, and why is it happening? That's what people in Europe want to know. Why is this happening? Is this being done to help Greece? No, it is going to crucify Greece. It is being done to prop up a failing project, because you know that once Greece goes, others will go as well. And some of the language, Mr Barroso, when leaders stand up and say that political moves are irreversible, history has one lesson. You are always going to be proved to be wrong.
What the Federal Reserve has done by literally stealing away the free market is created an unstoppable sequence of events now, which can only end one way. It cannot end another way, and that is an absolute collapse of the financial system. They understand that. All the central banks understand that. We just found out the Bank of Japan has just embarked in another money printing scheme, the biggest in their history. All the central banks are doing this. They're not stupid. So when someone like John Williams comes out from the Federal Reserve, comes out stating, oh, we're going to taper back, there's obviously some other type of a motive behind what he is saying. Understand, these are not stupid people. They are playing the game against you, against the people of the world. They want to keep you confused and off balance. This is a war, literally against the people, and I've been over this many times, and this is what they're trying to do by blurting out little pieces of nonsense that people have to sit back and digest. they keep people, again, confused, and they're not really sure what's going on. Well, just be sure of this. It can't stop. Not only will it not stop, it's going to increase. For those of you that have followed this blog, you know for a fact that I called QE4, QE5 to the week when they were going to come out, and I'm telling you that they are going to increase their money printing beyond the total of 85 billion that we know about to probably 100, 125 billion. Again, without this, the United States will cease to function. They are literally paying for the United States to keep running the way that it does. These bonds are IOUs, okay, and they fund the day-to-day function of the country. Without the Fed doing this, it's over. It is over so badly and across the board that it will literally send the United States and the world back to the Stone Age.
The first thing people should do is protect their assets, protect what they have. Because in less than 12 months, my prediction is that savings of millions of people is going to vanish. And this is just the beginning of this stuff.
If you could see the people around me, jaws have collectively dropped at what you've just said. I mean, we appreciate your candour, however, it doesn't help the rest of us, does it, or the rest of the Eurozone?
I would say this, listen, I would say this to everybody who's watching this. This economic crisis is like a cancer. If you just wait and wait thinking this is going to go away, just like a cancer, it's going to grow and it's going to be too late. What I would say to everybody is get prepared.
Historically, that's a universal law as well, that you're going to be warned. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times. You're going to be warned over and over and over and over and over again. And then when the hammer drops, there is no mercy. You need to understand that.
So I would say be prepared and act now. The biggest risk people can take right now is not acting. Get prepared. Get prepared.
I told you I was right. You were the fool. Apologize to me.